Hey, Raptors freaks, it's Alexios here. Sunday report with a big, heavy topics. One that's not easy to tackle because it's not really easy to compartmentalize and just make it something. Basically, what I want to talk about today is the relationship between sports and society, and from a sociological point of view, whereas like sports, just like The Simpsons or South Park or television media, reflects on society, but also informs society. It's a very weird mirror that we can learn about ourselves in society from things that happen in sports, because sports quite often can give us a very good easy example to understand, and then to take extrapolate from that into something bigger that has to do with everyday life. And I was really thinking about this a lot lately, that in some ways the NBA is a very powerful organization, that the NBA can make change in society in very underlying ways that we don't totally understand. Whether it's like we see how the NBA was at the head of the forefront of the COVID pandemic, that in fact, in some ways, they kind of gave the cue that we all needed to stay inside because they shut down, and that everybody else had to follow suit. And you have to wonder, would the NHL or the NFL or other sports leagues have closed down like they did when they did? They were kind of the leader in all this, that they showed. They're like, look, we want to be safe and all this kind of stuff. So the NBA is a very progressive sports league compared to the other ones. I mean, a lot of people are saying stuff like "woke go broke" and all this kind of stuff. People that are afraid of political activism in other areas other than politics. Well, they're just people that don't like people talking about change and getting things equal and better and stuff like that. The people that get mad at the NBA for being too political. Well, I love that the NBA is so political. Honestly, I think that it's important in a lot of ways because, listen, let's just get it right down to the reality of this. The high percentage of the people that play in the NBA are African American, and there are a lot of issues with in the United States and other places with racism, with different issues and stuff like that. So why wouldn't the NBA be at the forefront of the Black Lives Matter movement when it happened that summer and stuff like that? Why wouldn't they be? And I think that it's really great that the NBA shows leadership in society about what is important, what is right, what is wrong, and stuff like that. And this stuff that happened with these owners like Donald Sterling before and now Robert Sarver. In some ways, the NBA is a leader for society and kind of a moral compass to show us, what is right and what is wrong and stuff like that in different situations. Stuff like I really enjoy that and like that because in some ways we need these kind of powerful entities in our society with the way things are going and stuff like. We need good leadership. We need good people that have sane heads that are making rational decisions that are just and right for what's supposed to be happening in society. And I do commend the NBA for being mostly right on this. For like, there's blind spots, there's problems. Sports has hidden a lot of dirty little secrets over the years. A lot of different stuff. The NBA is just as guilty as anybody else. But with the way the world is with communication and the internet and everything online now, there's really hard to hide things. Like we've seen this thing recently with Doc Rivers this weekend with his Twitter. Did you guys hear about this? On Friday night, somebody got on Doc Rivers' account and they hacked it and they liked a lot of porn on his Twitter. And everybody woke up yesterday morning like freaking out that Doc Rivers was a freak and that he didn't understand what he was doing. Well, I don't know if he actually did that and they're just covering up for him, but they're saying that he was hacked and that somebody came in and stuff like that. But this is hilarious and stuff like that in some ways. But this is what I'm saying. The NBA is under such a microscope, it can spurn all kinds of incredibly deep and powerful and easy to digest and understand stories and messages about right and wrong in society and stuff like that. Good day to you, Guardian Transit, Raptor Freak, Guardian Transit. I got it right today. I know you're one of us. G's retracted his message, so maybe it's not a good morning, but good morning to you, G. I'm gonna say that. Lolita's saying, good morning, all. Let's go, Raptors. Monique is here. Good morning. She really liked my thumbnail. I wanted to pick something that had to do with the Raptors and the owners. And I thought about that incident with Kyle Lowry and the Golden State owner that was sitting up front, courtside during the finals that year in 2019, and how he pushed Kyle in the middle of the game and stuff like that. It's an interesting kind of relationship or moment that kind of signifies a little bit of friction in certain ways and stuff like that. And Cowboys here too. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bradley. Thank you for joining the fantasy basketball league. In there, we got 9 teams right now. There's 11 spots left. So if you want to play Raptor Freak Yahoo Fantasy Basketball this year with us, I'll put the link up in the description or in the comments of this stream later, and you can join up. We have 11 spots still open. So still lots of spots open. And Monique, I know you were having trouble getting in there yesterday with your Google account. Hopefully you can figure it out. If you don't want to play, that's fine too. But it should be pretty easy to kind of like go through all the steps. I don't want you to have to get a Yahoo account, but if you have to, and if you really want to play or something, I don't know. I don't know how to help you from the other end. Good morning to Fun Guy. Good to see you. I'm a fun guy and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a deep conversation. Like I said, Muhammad Ali, Jesse Owens. These are people that changed the world. Bill Russell. These are people that were influential on civil rights and different things like that in history, and they made a difference. So this is going to happen now. Maybe LeBron James taking a stand against toxic owners like Robert Sarver and Donald Sterling is the kind of leadership that a today's leader is kind of showing as an athlete, like Muhammad Ali would back in the day about the Vietnam War. Maybe this is kind of the stand that LeBron needs to take in different areas and stuff like that as an athlete and somebody who is politically minded and does care and stuff like that. Isaac Campbell, good morning to you. Good to see you. Good to see Isaac last night on the Scotty Barnes 6-hour Twitch last night. Oh my gosh. Once again, Scotty returned to Twitch and he told us why he hadn't been on Twitch this week. It's because he's been filming commercials. He filmed 2 new commercials this week, one for Google Pixel, Monique. He's in the new Google Pixel ad that's going to be coming out, and also for a Bitcoin company. I believe he did a commercial for a Bitcoin company also. He said there was a lot of hard work and that he was just tired and he couldn't get on the Twitch afterwards. But he doesn't want to start Twitches around 11 or midnight anymore. Like he doesn't want to do these late night ones anymore. But Scotty's Twitch was star-studded yesterday. Oh my gosh. He had Bronny jump into the Twitch for a second. Bronny, LeBron James's son, was in there talking to Scotty about wanting to play with him. And Guerrilla Marketing, who's an original person on the Twitch stream with Scotty. You're such a cool dude and so funny. They subbed Bronny up to Scotty. Like he needs that help with the money or something like that. But that was funny. That's kind of bragging rights. Guerrilla Marketing subbing up Bronny to Scotty Barnes' Twitch. Hilarious. And then also Terrence Ross popped his head in there for a second and stuff like that and said hello to us. Terrence is wanting to play the second game against Scotty Barnes and on the 2K and stuff like that. So this is like celebrities just jump into his chat here and there. Bronny and Terrence Ross and stuff like that. Shane, man, you shouldn't have said that to Terrence Ross, man. Shane said something in the comments. I'm like, he's here and he can read what you're saying, Shane. So don't write that. Basically saying something about how he's a sacrifice to get Ibaka. And I'm like, don't say that to Terrence Ross. I don't think he was happy he left Toronto. Let's just put it that way and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Isaac Campbell saying Raptors Freak getting Big Four's respect. Yeah, I was kind of like Ask Jeeves last night. It's like if you have a question to ask about anything, ask Raptors Freak because he'll give you the answer. If he doesn't know it off the top of his head, he'll go research it real quick and let you know. And that was cool. Like I told Scotty last night when Media Day is. He didn't know when Media Day was going to be. And I said, Scotty, it's going to be on the 26th. It's on the Monday, like a week from tomorrow. And he's like, oh, Media Day is on the 26th. Raptors Freak, you know everything. How do you know all this stuff? And he's like, I even wowed him with They have subscription wars. WR Builds buys all these subscriptions to be number one person gifting subscriptions on his Twitch, and then somebody comes in and tries to take his crown. And there's usually a subscription battle. There'll be like 10, 20 subscriptions bought at once, gifted to everyone, and it's great for everybody who's just there watching because they're getting free subscriptions. But it does really get competitive. And at one point, Scotty's like, "Who was battling WR Builds in the first battle on his Twitch?" And this is like months ago. This may be 2 months ago. And I remembered, I said it was Ed WYC. And Scotty's like, "That is who it was. Raptors freak, you have a really good memory," and stuff like that. And I was right. And stuff like that. So yeah, Scotty was astounded with my knowledge yesterday. And I love that. Even Lloyd chimed in and said, he knows what Vince Carter's middle name is. This is yeah. Hey, listen. At least I'm getting known. And seriously, don't you feel like this, Isaac, when you're in there? That like Scotty is like our friend. Like seriously, we get to talk to him directly, and he really does say that we're his friends and he loves us, and that he really values the time on Twitch with us and stuff like that. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be hanging out with Scotty Barnes on Twitch this summer and to become friends with him. This is insane. If you had told me at the end of the playoffs last year when we lost to Philadelphia and it sucked, that this summer I'd be able to become friends with Scotty Barnes, I would have told you you're crazy. But this has happened. It's so crazy. It's so cool. I love it. Monique saying, "Congratulations to Isaac. Go Raptors." Yeah. Tom, I don't know what you were doing. It was a Saturday night. I know that's a busy time for a lot of people. That's the thing. I have no life. It's real easy for me to catch Scotty every time because basically I'm waiting for that bat signal. Seriously, I took this as my job this summer. When I saw that he was going to be doing Twitch, I was going to say, I want to be as free and open as possible to be able to be there every single time he does it. I think this summer, out of like maybe, I don't know how many 50 or 60 Twitches he's done, I missed maybe 2 or 3. So I've done a really good job. But Tom, yeah, it was a good one. It started out rough. Like there were a lot of trolls in there, like doing trollish stuff, like just saying trollish things and stuff like that. And nobody was really modding them. Lloyd was kind of letting them do what they're going to do just for entertainment's sake. And I was like, Lloyd, just kick these guys out. They're idiots. It's like, come on. But the chat got cleaned up and it got a lot more friendly and the vibes were strong. Let's just put it that way. Scotty was feeling it yesterday. He was in a good mood. He was dancing. He was playing music. He was reacting to the Raptors from 2020, the bubble Raptors they have like a Slam magazine interview where like 5 of them are sitting there. It's like OG, Serge, Pascal, Fred, and Kyle and Norman. And they're all sitting around and they're talking and and they make fun of Serge for his style and he gets mad and he leaves. It's that interview. So Scotty did a reaction to that interview yesterday, and it was pretty interesting to see him watch the old Raptors. And because some of them are still on the team and they're his teammates now and stuff like that. But it's really cool to see him kind of look at old eras of Raptors and kind of he does want to understand the history of our franchise and things like that. And this is definitely an area where I can be a valuable resource to him, obviously, in the stream and stuff like that. So yeah, he was watching a lot of different things yesterday and playing a lot of 2K, and at some points he just wanted to chat and just talk with us too and stuff like that. So he's always so much fun. Guardian Transit saying Scotty going to be the man who helps bring a star to play down the road. Listen, I don't even think he's going to do that, Guardian Transit. He's just going to be that star. Seriously, there's some things about him that are just different. Like I was saying this in the chat last night. There's a difference between somebody who's nonchalant about playing the game. They're really good. They're talented and they can play and they can coast on their talent and be really good that way, but they may not have that eye of the tiger. They may not have that killer instinct. They may not have that will to win. And if they don't win, they're absolutely crushed and hating life and they hate people when they don't win. And this is Scotty. We've seen him. Like he actually talked about how he rage quit the other day. He's like, yeah, who was on here last time was on here and saw what happened? I was like raising my hand. A couple other people were. He's like, yeah, I rage quit. He's like, I don't ever do that and stuff like that. It's that's because he really cares about winning. And I question people like Donovan Mitchell, who's just kind of like very casual about things coming to Cleveland. It's like, yeah, this could be cool. This could be fun. It's like this dude doesn't care enough, I don't think. And that's what I'm saying. You want to get players that really care about winning and really care about, doing really well. And that's what Masai looks at when he's trying to gauge guys that he wants to bring to the Raptors. Is that they have this kind of Fred VanVleet, I want to win at all costs kind of thing. Scotty Barnes gets pissed off if he doesn't win, stuff like that. Because there are a lot of guys in this league that are great, they're talented, they're very athletic, they're good players, but they may not have that extra like drive, that Jordan, that Mamba mentality, that kind of stuff that I'm talking about. And I think that Donovan's one of those dudes that just doesn't have it. He's just like, I'm glad to be here and I can score. Sure, I'm good. I can do this, but I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. Isaac's saying coming out of the pandemic with a W. Yes, coming out of the pandemic with a W, doing whatever we can. That's what I'm saying. The NBA is a very influential body in the world, like sports body. That this is something where they can show the role model. They can be the role model to the rest of society and give a good example of how to deal with certain situations, like a toxic owner like Robert Sarver. That this could be applied to other industries where CEOs and bosses are acting out like this, and hopefully they can get yanked out and put out. But that's the problem. Sometimes these people are ensconced in power, and it's hard to shuck them out like an oyster out of the shell and stuff like that. And maybe there's no hope in some other areas of life with a toxic boss because there's no means of getting rid of them. It could be that they own the company, and you just either have to decide to continue to work for them or leave the company and stuff like that. So, this is the thing. The NBA can be a role model and a leader for everyday society on different kinds of issues about what matters and what people care about and stuff. Because there's a different forces in society right now that want to do different things. There's one side that really wants to regress things back to the 1950s. That if they had their way, they could probably do all kinds of different really racist, messed up things like they used to. They'll try and do it because obviously they're trying to drag women's rights back towards that with the abortion bans and stuff like that. This is the same kind of stuff. Now, the NBA being so powerful in some ways with clout and like LeBron James specifically, just himself as an individual, that's what I'm saying. Don't be afraid to be the leaders for today to help shape tomorrow, NBA, because you're doing a good job in a lot of respects. And I really do appreciate that LeBron will speak out politically because he really does have a lot of power on this earth. And the fact that if he didn't, it may be really squandering the opportunity to make a difference and make a change in a big major way and stuff like that. So let's see, G saying exactly. Mental strength and competitive spirit cannot be underestimated. Giannis is another one with that mentality. Couldn't shoot free throws and kept going through chirping. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to tell which guys are real ones and which ones aren't in this regard. That you can draft a guy and hope, and they're going to give you the lip service and say, "Oh yeah, I really want to win. I really care about winning." But where is it? How much are you like Scotty that you're so pissed that you just lost at a video game? He gets so mad. Like he was getting mad again last night when they had a little bit of losing going on and stuff like that. He really seriously does not like losing. He really, really doesn't and stuff like that. It was funny. One of the things they asked Scotty about is like, and he actually answered this question. People have asked it before. Who's the toughest person to guard in the league or one of the toughest people to guard in the league? And he started talking about last night. He said Harrison Barnes. I don't know if it's because they have the same last name or what, but he had a real problem with him in the game in Sacramento that we won. We blew them out, and Luke Walton got fired the next day after that game, if you remember. Scotty said in that game, he got 3 quick fouls against Harrison Barnes because he could not guard him very well, that he was somebody who actually gave him trouble. So that was interesting that he was giving a nod to Harrison Barnes. But once again in the chat, I reminded Scotty that the Raptors beat Sacramento both times they played them this year and stuff like that. So, this is great. Like, I love hearing all this information from him. He is really putting it out there and telling us what's up and stuff like he didn't have to tell us that he did two commercials in the last week and that which companies he did them for. He's saying that Bitcoin one's really funny and that we'll probably enjoy the Bitcoin commercial that he made. But once again, he said these commercials take like 6-7 hours to film. And that's where he was and stuff like that. There's a little snippet on Instagram or somewhere that I saw that has Fred VanVleet filming a new episode of How Hungry Are You with Serge Ibaka here in Toronto. So we should expect a Fred Van Vliet episode of How Hungry Are You this season coming up. There's a couple of stills of it that I saw somewhere on social media and stuff like that. So, all right, let's keep going. Yeah, there's different things that will separate a player from how good they are and how competitive they are. How much do they really care? What is their competitive spirit and their will to win? And who has the bigger will to win? That's what I'm talking about. You don't want people that are just casually coming in to get that NBA paycheck and just show up. They call it quiet quitting right now and stuff like that. There is such a thing as quiet quitting in the NBA, where somebody's still collecting the paycheck, but they're not really putting in the work that they could and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying you want to get the right personality that just has such a pride that it's like, I can't slack. I can't not want to win so badly. Just like Scotty Barnes, the way he feels about things. He is exactly like that. Isaac Campbell saying, I can honestly only wish Scotty Barnes the best. The guy is a positive force that needs to be encouraged. It sure is what the NBA and the world needs more of. Scotty's very young, and his interests right now are video games and things like that. But who knows? As he grows up and matures more and more over the years, maybe he becomes a little bit more political like LeBron. I don't think it'll happen for sure, but it could very well be that if he gets more and more of a platform and more clout as a powerful, popular NBA player, yeah, do it, Scotty. Don't be afraid to get a little politically minded, but it may not be something that comes to him naturally. Let's just put it that way and stuff like that. Cowboys here. Boucher has that competitive spirit also. Yeah, you have to be. If you're living on the streets in Montreal and you have to grind and get yourself out of the mud from the literal streets and do what Chris has done in his life, yeah. He talks about it all the time on his Instagram. You can tell that feels very blessed, and he has all kinds of inspirational quotes on there in his stories and talking about the grind and trying to get through and all the hardship and adversity that he's gone through and stuff like that. Yeah, Chris is a real one for sure. He just took a little longer to get there. Monique saying Jordan Lloyd had to pay Turkey $200,000 before signing with the Raptors. Deep story. Well, Jordan Lloyd, I mean, listen, you had to decide in that moment, do I want to go play for the Raptors or do I want this $200,000? Well, it seems like you made the right decision because you actually got a championship by making the decision you did. But that doesn't surprise me, Monique. This is normal with European League teams that if are in the contract already, and they want to get out, then they have to leave money on the table. So I don't know if he actually had to pay them the money or he just left that salary on the table to come and play for the Raptors that year. So, because that seems weird that they maybe they did fine him or something like that. That seems a little high for that. But I think it's more that his salary was just left on the table. They're not going to pay him if he leaves and stuff like that. He was probably in line to get that much. Bradley saying, Scotty probably got a bag of crypto for the commercial. Laugh out loud. He's obviously going to get some money for these ads and stuff like that. And it's funny. He does kind of dance around the different ad people that he's with. Like he's with Axe. So he will talk about Axe. But one of the areas he won't answer is a chicken. People keep asking him, do you like KFC or Popeyes? Or do you like Chick-fil-A or Popeyes and stuff like that? And he always says, I can't answer that, y'all. I can't answer the chicken question. And I think that's mostly because he's waiting for one of them to come and bring him a bag. And he doesn't want to have anything that says something about him choosing one or the other and stuff like that. So I think he wants to be in a Popeyes commercial or a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial, something like that. So very interesting, very, very interesting. All right, let's see. Race Mode's here. Good to see you, Race Mode. Glad you joined the Yahoo Fantasy Basketball League. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of fun. The draft will be a week from today, and we're going to live stream during the draft. So I won't do a morning Sunday report next week. We'll do a Sunday report on fantasy basketball, and I'll even do a little bit of a guide before, and we'll live react to how we pick the teams and stuff like that. This will be a lot of fun. So next week's Sunday stream will be at 5 p.m. It'll be later in the afternoon, not in the morning. Let's see. Race Mode saying, "Good morning. A little off topic. Did you hear that YouTube will focus on growing shorts and monetizing YouTube short creators? This channel is the best Raptors recap and community content." Thank you, Race Mode. That's a very nice compliment. No, I didn't know about the short stuff. I know I've done a little bit of shorts off here. Like sometimes I'll go back when I review my stream, I'll see, oh, that's a nice little section where I just kind of say something interesting and I'll clip it out. I haven't been doing it recently, but I have a little bit of practice with it. So if I have to do some shorts and stuff like that to get things going in other ways, that'll be cool and stuff like that. But we'll see. Have to see. I'm gonna, this channel's always evolving, and we'll have to see how it goes and stuff like that. And not that I'm trying to make an opportunity of anything that comes on here just to jump on and stuff like that. Just let it happen naturally to see what happens. Canadian Cowboy saying, anybody got crypto? It's a good time if you don't to start. Okay, so he's saying get into it right now. This is a good time to get into cryptocurrency and stuff like that. He's probably very right. It probably is exactly right, stuff like that. But there's still a lot of unknowns in some ways. People are a little shaky or weird about investing in something like this for different reasons, especially older people, where this just doesn't totally make sense. NFTs, stuff like this is kind of like nothing. It's just bits in the air. And like, it's not something tangible you can hold in your hand. Some people have a hard time buying things like that. Let's see. Bring on preseason. Guardian is hungry for Raptor meat. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for preseason either. And it's going to be here real soon. In fact, I was looking at the calendar and I'm like, I got to do this week of like off-season content. And then boom, I can really start trying to get more into the previews and the reactions for the games and stuff like that pretty quick. It'll be fun. I'm really interested in doing this media day reaction stream. It's going to be fun. Cowboy saying, let's go Raptors. Yeah. Monique saying, don't remind me of what he's going to eat on Serge's show. I don't know what Fred's going to have to eat on that show. I wonder what would be the apropos thing that Serge will make Freddie eat on his show. I wonder what it's going to be. G saying apparently he had to pay them. His family helped gather the money. That's crazy. So he actually had to pay them to get out of it. Well, I don't know how contracts are structured in certain leagues and stuff like this. Was an Italian league, right? I think because they're one of the bigger leagues in in Europe, and it could be that this is a team that really like I don't know. It is interesting that he made that choice blindly because that really was a huge gamble by Jordan Lloyd. I mean, all right, he wanted to go for his dream of being on an NBA team, but how realistic was it that he was going to make the team? And then, really, how would he know that he had any kind of chance to win a championship that year? Because he is an NBA champion. So I don't know. Would you do that? Would you give up? Would you pay $200,000 just to join the Raptors and win an NBA championship? I think a lot of people would if they knew it was guaranteed and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying toxicity is not allowed in Raptor Freak world. Thanks for that. So many creators like all in any traffic. That was a good decision by Jay Lloyd. Oh, Turkish. Okay, it was a Turkish league. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this is something that's really big on Scotty's stream also. Is like he does not like toxicity and stuff like that. And he was calling people out last night in different ways because it is gross. Some of the people that come in there, they say really ugly things to Scotty and things that are not just sexual, but just like insulting. Just kind of things that like, I get it. You're a fan of another team. You think Evan Mobley should have won Rookie of the Year, but you're saying things about our Roy's appearance that is just ugly and shallow and wrong. It's bullying, it's teasing, and we're not about it on that stream. And he clears the riffraff out, gets these people out of there, and the stream vibe is so much better. Oh my gosh, it's so much better out there. We see Shane coming in there, putting the vibes in the chat. We've seen Cool Cat in there, Isaac Campbell, lots of the regulars in there with us and stuff like that. It's cool. It's cool. I love it. Tom Duke saying international fouls are still a problem intentional fouls are still a problem in the NBA. Yeah, this is something I maybe should have talked about in some Sunday report about how the intentional foul stopping the fast break. Well, how they tried to change the rule that now they're going to give them an extra free throw and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see how they change the rule this year and see if it's any better than last year because last year was really bad. And I don't like them slowing down the game like this. One of the best things about the NBA is the fast break. And when teams are stopping the fast break on purpose by making an intentional foul like that, this is bad. They need to penalize this team and make it not attractive to them to stop the break like this, because they're getting too many benefits from doing that foul. That really hurts momentum. It hurts like getting a crowd, if it's a home crowd, into the game from seeing a great highlight. There's all kinds of benefits to doing that take foul when people are going into transition, and there's not enough penalties for it. And that's why they tried to do it this year different. They're going to have a more of a penalty for trying to do that. But let's see if it actually dissuades them. I'm not even sure if it's enough of a penalty still to outweigh the benefits of doing the take foul when people are getting in transition, stuff like that. We have to see it first. I want to see if the change actually is effective or not before I make a total judgment on what they did this summer. Fun guy saying, "Yo, with preseason starts in a little over a week. Oh my God, yes, a week from tomorrow, media day, and then boom, they get on a plane and they fly out to BC and they start working out in Victoria, and they'll be there for most of the next week." And all that kind of stuff. Scotty, is excited. These dudes are excited. They can't wait to get back. It really is like a weird anticipation for the season that is greater than normal off seasons. I don't know what it is. Maybe for me, it's partly because I'm doing these streams every day, but it does seem like the hype and the anticipation of the new NBA season is at one of the highest volume, biggest, craziest anticipations ever before a season. And I don't know if that's just because it's Raptors fans and I'm in that fan nation, and we are very excited to see our team continue to grow and be better and better. Because I don't know if other teams have that kind of feeling. Like, how does Utah Jazz fan feel right now, or Spurs fan? Are they really super excited about going into the season and seeing what their team's doing? Some of the really diehard ones, sure, Spurs freaks probably feeling like that. But I don't think a lot of the regular everyday fans of like the Spurs or the Jazz are that enthusiastic or that like, oh, I'm so excited about the season coming up. Like most average, like general Raptor fans are right now. Like people that aren't even that diehard into it are actually really looking forward to it too. It's very interesting. Let's see. Cowboys saying, how many minutes do you think the starters will get in the preseason game? Let's go, Loco Coloco. Yeah. I don't know. Like this normally is a thing where they play like the first half of the first game, and then that's it. And they may not play for the rest of the preseason. They may like do that. They may do like the first half of the first game. The starters all play. The regular thing happens, and then the second half is for other guys. And then in the second game, maybe they'll play the starters for one quarter, and then the rest of the people not for the rest of the game, the rest of the people for the rest of the game, stuff like that. I think that's probably more likely. And then maybe the third, fourth, and fifth game, they don't play the starters at all. So there is a chance that in Montreal, there may not be like you may not see a lot of Scotty Barnes and Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam and stuff like that. But I may be wrong. And the game that in Chicago, the one here against Chicago that I got tickets to, that a lot of us are trying to go to, that game will definitely probably have not a whole lot of the main guys playing for very long in that game there, because that's definitely a game that they want to see what's happening with these guys and making the tough decisions about who's going to be on the team and stuff like that. So Coloco is probably going to play a lot in preseason himself. So I wouldn't expect him to be lumped in with like Fred, Gary, Pascal, and Scotty and OG. Those guys are probably not going to play a super ton a lot in preseason. They may put them out there though for a bit when the cities that don't get to see the Raptors very much. So Edmonton fans, Montreal fans, you should probably expect to see these dudes all play, and at least for a little while in the game. It may not be the whole game, and maybe you just get a half of them, stuff like that. Monique saying Nick Nurse was on the Heat Check with Trista podcast. Check it out. Extremely deep conversation about his mother, the season, etc. Ooh, all right. I love that. I want to check that out for sure. Nick Nurse interview. Awesome. Heat Check. I've never heard of that one. G saying, I noticed New Yorkers and people from LA giving Raptors credit. This is good. This is good. And they should. They should. Anybody who's a big time NBA fan and watch the Rico Hines runs, if you're well informed and have your eyes open, you should be respecting and understanding that the Raptors are a serious team for real. and stuff like that. That's good. That is really good and stuff like that in different ways. Like, I mean, it's obviously better than them slighting us and saying, "Oh, we're not that good." Or the disrespect towards the Raptors has been so bad over the years. Isaac Campbell saying, "Thank you, superfan Mo. You always have the best insight." Yeah, Monique is just on it. She just knows her stuff, and like she Scotty would say the same thing to her as he said to me last night. If she was in there and saying a lot of the stuff because she knows a lot of the same stuff that I know and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun. I was glad Scotty went on last night, and it was about 6 hours. He got done just before midnight. He's getting a little tired and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember what else he said. There was some really interesting stuff that he was talking about. Talking about toxicity real quick. Let me talk about this. You know, there's toxicity in the NBA in different ways, whether it's the owners, whether it's a coach, whether it's a player. The fans can be toxic, stuff like that. And one of the things that we were talking about last night with Scotty that was very interesting was Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is a friend of Scotty. I don't know if you guys know this. Like they kind of spent time together in young teams together and stuff. This is somebody that is his friend, and he knows that these charges against him are very serious and they're wrong and they are bad. And he is pretty much dead to rights, like guilty. So, but Scotty has to handle this in a certain way because this is his friend still. And some people are saying, well, Scotty, if you're showing support towards Miles Bridges, people might want to cancel you. But I was like, look, this is something you guys got to understand. As bad as people are, and this is very bad. I don't want to make apologies or any kind of poo poo anything that Miles Bridges did. You got to understand there still are people that care about him and stuff like that. And that Scotty is a friend of his and stuff like that. So it's not that he condones what he did or anything like that for sure. But he also feels very strongly that, Miles Bridges should be allowed to play if he's not in jail or not in big trouble and stuff like that. It's like, because that is his livelihood and that is who he's supposed to be. But this is another case, an example where the NBA can kind of be on the cutting edge of showing how to deal with this kind of stuff in society and stuff like that. Because, like, in some ways, the NFL has dropped the ball in this particular subject with domestic violence and things like sexual assault and stuff that we've seen this year and stuff like that with what's his name, Watson, and stuff like that. So the NBA can be a better, role model for how to deal with this kind of stuff, because we do need to make Miles Bridges a cautionary tale for other young men not to follow in his footsteps of abusing their partner in front of their kids or doing any of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different sides to things and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. Cowboys saying, is it just me or has anybody noticed this off season how many non-Raptors fans making content on the video to get those likes because they know we're coming for that championship and the Raptor fans are growing? There are a lot of people that aren't really Raptor fans that can make Raptors content because they know that we're a very strong online presence. And this is very true. Raptors Twitter is very much a force, and it has very much a strength. Raptors Twitter is something else. And then, people like me and other people that are making content on YouTube and stuff like that, we have a very heavy presence. Well, there's people that make YouTube content. Like I put Chris's Sports Corner in this department. He's a Laker fan. He's actually very much a Laker fan still. But he saw that there's a huge interest in Raptors content. So he pivoted and started doing a lot more Raptors content. And Chris's Sports Corner got a lot more views from Raptors fans. And this is true. This happens. That people are actually using that phenomenon to boost their numbers and stuff like that. So I see what you're saying, Cowboy. And y'all, if you all have anything you need done around the house as far as remodeling, painting, you need window cleaning, carpet cleaning, Ta-da is the place to call. Ta-da Brothers will come to your house and they will clean it up and fix it up and take care of it for you. So just look out for ta-da. Yeah, Sue's here. Good morning, everyone, from Sue. And good morning to you, Sue. Always happy to see you. Let's see. Fun guys saying Miles Bridges may never see the league again. Yeah. And in some ways, I don't disagree with that. but Scotty does in some ways and stuff like that. I don't know. He'll be punished for what he's done, and then the NBA will do what they do and stuff like that. I mean, Charlotte's going to be bad this year, no matter what. They're going to be really bad. In fact, I think they have some injuries and stuff like that. And yeah, they've got a lot of problems with that team. Let's see. Cowboys thanking Sue because Sue made a great point. Tom Duke saying 100%. Fun guy saying, man, I listened to the full Donald Sterling tape. Okay, sorry, Doughboy. I listened to the full Donald Sterling tape again after the Sarver incident, and man, I don't know how players had energy to play the next day. That shit was hard to listen to for anyone. Yeah. Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, that lady took him down. His girlfriend. She's like, it's so dumb too. He was like, "How you go to the game with that N word, Magic Johnson?" He was calling Magic N word, and that is absolutely egregious and awful and stuff like that. This is somebody who was in charge of an NBA team for decades. This is not like he was new to the league. He had been around since like the '70s almost, and he had been messing up the Clippers all along and stuff like that. So, and it's really interesting. The Clippers got better once he left because they got a new owner that really cared, Steve Ballmer, and he started fleecing the Raptors and getting all their people and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, this ugliness. You kind of thinking about this. What is the iceberg? The tip of the iceberg. What tip is the tipping point to where you actually get in trouble like Sarver and Sterling did? These guys were operating like this for years and years. And it's like, as finally they're like, no, we're putting our foot down. You cannot be saying this kind of stuff. You cannot treat the women in your office like this and stuff like that. You got to wonder how bad it is and where's the scale of this with all the owners in the league. We talked about Larry Tannenbaum yesterday. And, the Raptors have made a mandate to hire a lot of women in their front office. This is very specifically a Masai Ujiri, thing. He wants the best people involved in the Raptors, and that means like character. That means ain't no knuckleheads like Robert Sarver running around in the Raptors organization and stuff like that. We have respect for women, and in fact, we put them in powerful positions in our organization and stuff like that. So if we see a sliding scale of like, what is it from Larry Tannenbaum up to Donald Sterling, Robert Sarver kind of owner? How many of these guys in between are closer to them than Larry Tannenbaum? That's what you have to wonder. I know that the owner of the Pistons, for instance, he actually has a big part of his fortune is made off of for-profit prisons. That is messed up. The fact that he lines his pockets and generates money from having owning prisons that make money off incarcerating people. And more predominantly African Americans in the country, because we know the percentages and the rates of who's getting arrested out there more, and their population that's more their share than actually how many people there are in the population. That is kind of immoral in some ways. Did you know that the owner of the Pistons is his part of his company and his empire is owning for-profit prisons in the United States. And that in itself is immoral itself, because you can look at the whole idea of a for-profit prison. They're making money off having people in prison. Well, they need to go get more people, and they may make up charges and meet quotas from month to month just to feed the prison system to be able to make the money. If you don't have the prisoners in there, you don't get the money from the government to pay to do that. So there's a lot of really gross, disgusting machinations of immorality about incarcerating people for profit. Like, seriously, you got to think about the motivations and stuff like that. So in some ways, wonder what that owner is like if he has that kind of hand in that kind of business of for-profit prisons and stuff like that. So, we've got people like Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is probably more on the spectrum of near Larry Tannenbaum as far as a good, positive owner that is involved in making good things happen in the league. Like, he's the one who was looking at the refs, making sure they're not cheating and keeping real track of them and being really on the NBA about being fair overall. And Mark Cuban's been all kinds of different things as a owner. He's been a huge fan and involved there. And so, in fact, there's footage of him from this past week with Lethal Shooter. He's a very famous basketball development coach who teaches people how to shoot. And he's teaching Mark Cuban this week how to shoot and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Good morning to Cool Cat. Good to see you last night on Scotty's stream, and good to see you this morning too. Good morning. Didn't know it's Scotty's friends. It's a serious issue. Raptors fan base will not support Miles Bridges' actions. Scotty might not know this side of the fan base. Sarver needs to lose his team. It's awful. Yeah, yeah. This is something we were trying to talk to him about last night. You were there and you were seeing it too. Scotty's just seeing this as this dude he played with when he was younger, and he's his friend and stuff like that. I don't think Scotty would make a stand for Miles Bridges, but it is interesting that from that angle, it's like he has to, you got to realize there's people that care about these guys, even if they're complete awful people and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know how to handle this. I think Scotty should probably treat him with a 10-foot pole and just stay away from Miles Bridges just in general and stuff like that. But it's not, we know he's not condoning what he did or anything, stuff like that. So, and I totally agree about the Sarver thing. In fact, this is something I want to read to you guys. This is PayPal, a sponsor of the Suns, is saying today PayPal CEO and President Dan Schulman released the following statement regarding the status of PayPal sponsorship with the Phoenix Suns. PayPal is a values-driven company and has strong record of combating racism, sexism, and all forms of discrimination. We have reviewed the report of the NBA's league independent investigation into Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver and have found his conduct unacceptable and in conflict with our values. PayPal's sponsorship with the Suns is set to expire at the end of the current season. In light of the findings of the NBA investigation, we will not renew our sponsorship should Robert Sarver remain involved with the Suns organization after serving his suspension. Now, see, that's the thing. The big companies can take a stand. The other owners are taking a stand. LeBron James, Chris Paul, the NBA Players Association, Adam Silver. That's what I'm saying. It looks like even though it's hard to get an owner out of the league, well, they did it with Sterling, and maybe they need to repeat it again with Sarver and stuff like that. I think it's going to happen, Cool Cat, because honestly, you look at how much everybody's on the same page with this. There's not like anybody's like saying, we should keep Robert Sarver. He's great. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's like, kick his ass out. And so I think it's going to happen. He may put up some sort of fight. I know Sterling fought a little bit when it was going down against him, but he really couldn't do anything at a certain point when the owner said, you're out. We can't have you around. And this may be what it takes. It may be what it takes. Canadian Cowboys saying, I think we'll beat the Bulls by 20 at least. I'd love to see that. I mean, this is going to be an interesting preseason game. The Bulls and the Raptors. They've got interesting stuff. I want to see if Goran's going to be there playing. We've got to remember, Goran's on the Bulls now. So if we're all going to that preseason game at Scotiabank Arena, we get an opportunity to boo Goran right away and stuff like that. It'll be fun. Sue's saying this is a great thing about the Raps organization. They aren't afraid to take a stand or do things that are forward thinking. Yes, and the league as a whole also. But the Raptors in some ways are like the most woke team in the most woke league. In some ways, that is very powerful. And then part of it is because we are Canadian and that we're on this side of the border, and that, politics up here can tend to lean a little left in some ways and stuff like that, especially on social issues. And you could take different teams in different places with different kinds of ownership and stuff like that. Like the DeVos family owns the Magic. They have for a long time, and that's Betsy DeVos, like the lady who was working for Donald Trump. So they have a very heavy like Christian mentality, and like their ownership's a little weird for the Orlando Magic. Let's just put it that way. And like it's funny, like there's new jerseys that came out for the Magic this week, and you can see this camouflage trim along the side of it, and I'm kind of like, that's gross. Like, and somebody had a really good tweet. I forget who it was. They said the Magic have one of the best like nicknames for the NBA to create really cool and amazing jerseys. They're the Magic. And if they got a tie-in with Disney, why couldn't they do things with Disney stuff in there and stuff like that? Well, their jerseys always kind of suck. And like they could be making these fantastic, amazing Magic jerseys, but they don't. And you know why? It's probably because of this really weird Christian owners. They're like, we don't want anything to do with magic and fantastic things because that's just a gateway to Satanism or something like that. I don't know. They'd rather put camouflage on their jerseys than a little Mickey Fantasia kind of thing going on or something like that. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. The ownership can shape the team and how they are act politically. Very much so, because the DeVos family is not a good. Like, they're gross. They're awful people. Like, what she tried to do to education system in the U.S. while Trump was in president was messed up. So that's an extension of it, that they influence how the Magic are and stuff like that. So maybe it's good for each individual fan base to understand their ownership and where all their hands are in and stuff like that. Like the Pistons owner, what I said about him earlier, and like the DeVos and stuff like that. And, well, oh, I'm a Mavericks fan. Oh, Mark Cuban's cool. He's cool and stuff like that. Larry's awesome. Larry Tannenbaum, stuff like that. So, all right, let's see. Cool Cat saying, what Detroit Pistons need to excuse that portion of his portfolio too? Yeah, it's very weird. Like, it kind of is like a slap in the face. I don't know, if I played for the Pistons and I knew that my boss, the guy who owns the team, had his hand in making money off of that kind of like system, I would have some moral quandaries. I'd be like, I don't know if I want to play for the Pistons because of this dude. Fun guy saying, I love Steve Ballmer. Of course, the fun guy's going to love Steve Ballmer. He's paying the fun guy to sit around. He's paying him a lot of money to sit around and stuff like that. So yeah, ownership can be a very important part of setting whether your team is toxic or not. We know that with New York Knicks and James Dolan. We know that now from Phoenix with Robert Sarver. We know that from decades of Donald Sterling and the Clippers and stuff like that. And then you see, like Tom was saying the other day, Paul Allen died, and then it changed like the Trailblazers ownership group. And they're in flux and they're in a weird place. And they've had some issues with toxic people in their front office also since Paul Allen died. So it is an important thing that starts from the top and it can trickle down. But of course, at any level, you could have some toxicity in your organization, whether it's your coach, whether it's a player, whether it's the fan base being very toxic also. So yeah, I guess it's just like kind of checking and seeing where you're at, or maybe you need people from the outside to look in from their perspective and maybe tell you, oh, you're a little toxic with this and how you're acting and what you're doing and stuff like that. So let's see. Cowboys saying, yes, sir, Isaac. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. Monique saying, I said it before, but Kyle did good with the Warriors owner during the 2019 series. Still so proud of him. That's what I'm saying. Like, the NBA is this, the court is already there and the fans are so close. And that interaction, the stuff with Masai and the security officer, and then that interaction between the part owner of the Warriors and Kyle Lowry when he shoved him on the bench, sitting not on the bench, but in the seats right there. This is what I'm saying, that dude is like, it's a low level toxicity. It's kind of just in the moment physical toxicity, but still that's a classic bad sportsmanship kind of toxicity. That it's still important in sports to promote good values, good sportsmanship. And then in some ways we don't have that totally. Like Joel Embiid is toxic as sportsmanship. He's not a good person on the NBA court with toxicity because he shows poor sportsmanship. And that is still very important at the crux of sports and two teams playing each other. You want good sportsmanship. And that wasn't a good sportsmanship moment with that Warriors owner. And he actually lost his ownership stake partly because of this and stuff like that. So there were consequences, and it's really good. But yeah, that I'm just saying, these are the kind of toxic interactions, whether it's that security guard and Masai Ujiri right after we won the championship, that kind of put things on blast. Like, well, why was this cop doing this to him? Well, it was maybe a little bit of racial profiling. And then we have the conversation and it gets out there and we talk more about it because of the incident. That's what I'm trying to get across today, is that the NBA can be a great window towards talking about huge, important sociological subjects in the world today on a scale where everybody can relate to it and associated with it and really talk about it and get more out there about how to change it and be better in the future. And that's what I want to get across, that mirror really does help us change everything. And I applaud the NBA for not being afraid to do this. There's a lot of people that won't watch the NBA because they gone woke. and stuff like that. But I think it's one of the best things, and it is really kind of carrying the baton of people like Jesse Owens, people like Muhammad Ali, people like Bill Russell, and continuing that kind of struggle on important societal issues that we still need to get progress on and stuff like that. It's really, really important. So important. Tom Duke saying Fatty Daddy, Papa Porter, and not finding Big Four and Slim Duck better nicknames. We need to sort this out. You know what? I don't know if Scotty really cares about getting a real nickname. I mean, what is his name is on 2K right now is Scottier Diamonds. Is that's his name? Scottier Diamonds is his name on the 2K. That is what he named his character. So I don't know if we call him Scotty Diamonds because that's what he named himself. I don't know if he's Scotty Diamonds. I gave up on trying to give him like the Baron von Barnstormer nickname or any Red Baron or anything like that. I was like, Red Baron's a really good name, Scotty, but maybe I should try it again and tell him, I was like, dude, be Baron von Barnstormer and stuff like, or the Barnstormer or something like that. A Barnstormer is a plane that goes through a barn and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it up again with him and see if it. But people have tried to come in there. The one that people try to give him is Scotty Too Hottie, and I don't think he's about that. I don't think he likes that nickname, Scotty Too Hottie. That's kind of a silly nickname. I mean, the wrestler, he did the worm. It's such a cheesy move. And Scott Taylor, Scotty Too Hottie's not the right one. I think Big Four is generally accepted by him. He likes that one because he's all about being big. Big Roy was fine with him last year when Matt Devlin was doing it, but this is something that's going to evolve and naturally come. We don't know what his nickname's going to be. Slim Duck is a great nickname. And that's just basically that's Chris's what he wants to be because he's an Oregon Duck and he's very skinny, so he's Slim Duck. And Papa Porter, I don't know if that's actually an official nickname at this point, but Fatty Daddy, sure, that can be. Cowboys saying we're coming, we're coming. There's your warning, NBA. The Raptors are coming, and we're going to come and win a lot of games. Yes, we are. Sue saying Sarver shouldn't be allowed to make money off the Suns when he treats his players, staff, organization like this. There should be no place for this kind of prejudice, bigotry, and discrimination. Yes. Yes, I think that this should be the case for anyone in any kind of employment situation, that you should not be working for someone that denigrates you or has really messed up values or ways that they think about people. Stuff like whether they're sexist or racist. This is something that is an issue in a lot of workplaces everywhere. In fact, I've left jobs because of these issues before on principle. I could have stayed and made money and did that, but I did the tough thing. I did the thing where saying I can't be here because this is a messed up place, a cesspool of toxicity and stuff like that. I've had a couple jobs that were very toxic here in Toronto. I don't want to go into them, talk about them. Maybe someday when I do the Raptor Freak Stories channel where I just tell stories about my life and things that happen, maybe we'll do it then, but not here. Let's see. Fun guy saying, I think that Kyle Lowry's situation was more of him not liking Lowry. Can't blame him. Lowry flops and complains a lot. It was frustration by Warriors Nation that knew they were probably going to lose the finals against the Raptors and we were going to get our first championship. That's what it was. It smacks of frustration that this dude was just pissed because the Warriors were losing to the Raptors in the finals. And he's, get out of here, Kyle Lowry. You're a part of it, and you're a big reason why we're losing. I hate you. This kind of thing. Cool Cat saying, I joined Scotty's stream late, so I missed a lot. His streams are not saved anymore. Gore and higher ambitions. Laugh out loud. Oh, wow. Yeah, higher ambitions on the Bulls and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess he just doesn't want to save them anymore so people can clip them out. He didn't save the one from last night. Man, that's too bad because he said so many nice things about me. I want to clip them out and put them on my YouTube. Actually, I'm done doing that. He doesn't want us to clip his stuff. He really doesn't, especially since now he's got his own YouTube channel to clip the stuff himself. I totally get it because it's that kind of thing. And it's funny. People came in there and they're like, you should play Flight on 2K. And I'm like, he did. It's on his YouTube channel. Go to Scotty Barnes Live. And I do an ad for him. And Scotty loves that. I mean, he loves that we're coming in there and saying stuff like, if you're complaining about the ads, 5 ads you got to watch, go ahead and sub up. It's September. You go ahead and sub up, just pay the man for the entertainment and stuff like that. And he loves that because he doesn't have to say it and stuff like that. And we can be that little bit of advertising for him and stuff like that. So, but yeah, about Goran, yeah, higher ambitions, like was the Nets. And now he's on the Bulls. I don't understand that, man. He had the opportunity to go to the Mavs this summer, like he wanted to play with Luca, and he didn't take it. And the reason why is because the role he would have on the Mavs would be very diminished. He would be basically like he was on the Raptors at the beginning of the season last year. He wants to actually play. And so I guess the Bulls have promised him that he's going to get like a rotational spot for sure. I mean, Lonzo being hurt is going to help him with getting minutes, at least initially. But when Lonzo comes back, I don't know. They've got that kid that was a rookie last year, Io, and stuff like that. I don't know how much Goran's going to get to play by the end of the year. It may look good for him while Lonzo Ball's out, sure. But yeah, he's so stupid. Like, honestly, I don't think Goran Dragic is a very intelligent person. Let's just put it that way. Monique's saying, I guarantee you that DeMar hates Goran on the Bulls. Monique, we don't know that for sure. I mean, DeMar is such a good teammate. He probably open arms with anybody. We know that Goran and Kyle are friends. They're cool. So by default, if Goran and Kyle are friends, and this is because they played together. I don't know if you know this, but Goran and Kyle Lowry were teammates on the Houston Rockets, like way back. And that's when they first became friends. So they were friends this whole time with this whole trade last year and stuff like that. So maybe by proxy, DeMar will be cool with Goran just because Kyle's his best friend and Kyle's cool with him. So I don't know. The players are really weird about beefs. Like they don't have the same kind of beefs that we have. Like even last night, Scotty was talking about Embiid when we were dissing him. He really went into detail about his injury and how bad it felt. He was talking about the worst moments that happened to him on basketball courts, like when he missed some free throws when he was younger in a very important game, how bad he felt afterwards. And then he talked about when Joel stepped on his ankle and how scary that was and whether he would be coming back. And even when he did come back a couple of games later, he was playing on one leg, he said. He was just trying his best, and he wasn't fully back yet. He rushed coming back. He wasn't ready to come back in the series. In fact, he probably shouldn't have came back in the series, but we needed him and he wanted to, and he was going to tough it out. But everybody started calling him and bitch and bum and like we hate him and saying all this stuff about Embiid after we started talking about him. And Scotty said, guys, I don't hate the guy. In fact, you can't call him a bum. He's a good player. He's a very good player. He's tough and stuff like that. So he's showing respect to Joel Embiid. He may not be his favorite player. He may be somebody he doesn't totally like, but he definitely is saying like this level of like respect. Like this is an NBA player who's one of the best players in the league, and that y'all talking trash about him is stupid because this guy's good, is what Scotty said. So, yeah, very interesting stuff to hear. Because like people have asked Scotty in the last week or so, do you hate anybody in the NBA? And he says, no, I don't hate anyone in the league. And they'll bring up Cade, they'll bring up Evan, they'll bring up Jalen Green, and he said, these are my brothers. I love these guys and stuff like that. So it's weird because I worry about him being in this like Vince Carter NBA friend zone with everybody in the league, especially his rookie class, because a lot of them are his friends. But it's different. It's different. Scotty gets so mad and really cares so much about winning. I'm not worried about him being too chummy with everybody else because he still is an ultimate competitor for sure. For sure. For sure. All right, let's see what else people are saying. Lolita's saying at Sue, totally agreed. We Raptor fans are very lucky that our owners are from management, owners, coaches. We are good people. We're so proud of them. This is really smart and like on purpose, very much purposefully crafted and designed this way. And it really did come with Masai. Masai came in, he said he wants the best people in the best places. And at this point, being in charge for over 10 years now, he has really got the organization, the people he wants in the spots that he wants them in and stuff like that. There's no carryovers from Brian Colangelo from before, nothing like that isn't totally like, Masai's fingerprints on things and stuff like that. And this is true. We're very lucky for this. This is a way that teams can go awry, is from toxic bullshit that's around their team. Like we're going to be very interested to see how the Phoenix Suns perform this year with the distraction of the Robert Sarver possibly carrying on into the season and stuff like that. Or what if the players decide like to do like a thing at the last minute before the season starts, say you got to kick him out right now or we're not going to play. And then boom, they may do this. That's what they did with Donald Sterling. LeBron got everybody organized and said, we're just not going to play until you kick this person out as an owner. And that could very much be what happens right at the beginning of the season. So get ready, strap in, because we're going to have to see how this unfolds. And very much pay close attention to how the Suns do this year with this distraction looming around them and stuff like that. G saying Scotty Bank Barnes. He makes bank shots. You said it in regards to Scotia Bank is Scotty Bank. I like it. Scotty Bank. Scotty Bank is a good nickname for the building, but I don't know if it's the right name for him. But I do like Scotty Bank Arena. Cool Cat saying Showtime Scotty. That's not bad. That's not bad. But then again, Laker fan might really like that because that's like the perfect nickname for him to come and wear the purple and gold. No. We don't want that. So I stay away from the word Showtime just in general, just because that is really kind of Laker copyrighted. Guardian Train says, what's your Twitter? My Twitter? Well, I do have a Twitter, but it's not Raptors related. It's music related. I post new music videos every day on my Twitter. And if you're interested, it's daily new music videos, Lex's Choice. I guess I can put let me get the address and just post it in here real quick. Let's see if it'll let me. There, I posted it. So if you're interested, Guardian Transit, there's my Twitter. Tom Duke saying Big Four, the human slot machine, spitting dimes and diamonds. Yeah, Big Four, the human slot machine. See, I thought he was a jukebox myself, like an old school jukebox, because he's channeling the old NBA and animations of past greats through his body, whether he's doing a little Dirk shot or he's doing a little Kawhi hook or he's doing a little Magic Johnson no look. It's like Scotty Barnes is like the old school NBA jukebox playing like old moves of all kinds of different players from the past and stuff like that. Let's see. Monique saying, Lex, I follow you on Twitter, but I'm hardly on it. Yeah. Twitter's a weird thing. Like I really have been using it for my music stuff more, but I am getting more involved in Raptor stuff on Twitter more recently. But I really just like stuff on there as far as Raptor stuff. But everything that I post is music videos. It's basically like I review music videos. It's one of the things that I do in my life. And I just share the ones I find and stuff like that. Like today, I'll be posting the brand new Bjork video later. It's absolutely beautiful. Her music right now is really, really powerful and genius. Like she's wrote a whole album about social media and the pandemic and being isolated and like really beautiful imagery. And like the song that she had this week is about being encased in an egg in social media away from everyone. And like that whole phenomenon. It's very deep stuff. And of course, she's doing it the way she does it with the incredible, amazing outfits and just the art direction and the whole thing. It's just sublime. It's just amazing, amazing stuff by Bjork that's coming out right now. So it's music stuff that I'm talking about there. That's another area that I really love. I love music. I was a radio DJ for like 10 years, and I really know a lot about music also. So yeah, we can talk music too. Let's see. Scotty Bank Arena. Lolita saying, any updates with Masai's 100 basketball courts being built in Africa? I know that he was over there earlier this summer and he was getting it done and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm sure it's happening and everything's great and stuff like that. It's a fantastic program, and it doesn't hurt the Raptors organization to be out there helping young people in Africa get involved in the game for possible development players coming over to play for us or feeling good about being around Masai. Because like I said, Precious, Koloko, these guys have been around Masai way before they came to Toronto, and they already had a good relationship and trust with him from before. And that's what I'm saying. It's almost like Masai is building a trust with people ahead of time just to ensure the possibilities of getting really great prospects from Africa and stuff like that. So it's really smart. Isaac Campbell saying, I agree with Big Four or maybe Big W. Big W. You know what? He was screaming at us about that last night. He's like, when he wins a game, he doesn't want to see lowercase W's in the chat. I want big W's, not lowercase W's, y'all. Put those big W's up. Scotty and his punctuation demands. Yeah, big W's, y'all. Put the capitalize that W if you're gonna put it in the stream. It's a big W, not a little W. But yeah, Isaac, that might be good. Big W. I don't know. It doesn't really kind of go with his name. I don't know. It's really a sweet spot that you have to really find that totally makes sense. And everybody will just like generally accept it and be like, oh, yeah, that's the perfect nickname for Scotty and stuff like that. But we can't rush this. There may be something that happens that makes it really evident what his nickname should be. Cowboy saying Scotty Barnes is perfect. Yeah, just his name, SB, Scotty. Just Scotty, Scott. Scottier Diamonds. Cool Cat saying we should not boo Goran anymore, though. It was fun last year. We now move on to other stuff. I don't know. I enjoy booing people, and he's very easy to boo. And like, I don't mind booing people. I know some Raptor fans and people, Canadians, are like, no, you don't shouldn't boo people and stuff like that. I'm a hybrid. I'm American Canadian, so there is a part of me that went to Doak Campbell Stadium for Florida State Seminoles football games and like got real loud and booed and did everything like that. So in some ways he deserves it. He really does. His higher ambitions and stuff like that. I mean, it's up to every individual. Some people don't want to boo him, don't boo him. But we should reserve the right to allow other fans to boo him also if they want to. I mean, some people wanted to boo Vince right up until he retired, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, there isn't. Some people think there is, but I had no problem with it. I think that, sometimes that's your right to express yourself, freedom of speech and stuff like that. But, a lot of people probably will just not care at this point. I booed the hell out of Goran last year when he was on Brooklyn. He came back and we beat them by 1 point. And that was so satisfying. In fact, we booed him so well when he was at the free throw line. He missed 2 free throws in that game and they lost by 1. So you do the math. That booing helped. It was really good. Monique saying, Lolita, Masai just did an interview in Africa talking about bringing up players. That's the latest. Yeah, I haven't seen that interview. Monique is really on stuff. Like she sees stuff way before I do. And often she's telling me what's going on. Like that Nick Nurse interview that she talked about earlier. I'm going to have to go check that out for sure. Cowboy saying we should still boo him. I said shit about T-Dot without knowing our city. Yeah, I'm with that. It is whatever. It's a freedom of choice. I don't like fans that are kind of trying to tell people, oh, you shouldn't boo people or we should be nice and stuff like that. No, we should just be fans and be how fans should be. Now, our fan base may be nicer than other fan bases like Philadelphia's, but we should still be allowed to be an entity as we should be. And each individual in that entity should be able to, be how they want to be as long as it's not hurting anyone. And I don't really like the F chants, like F this person, because it is kind of a family environment in Scotty Bank Arena. And we don't need, a lot of cussing and like chanting cuss words and stuff like that. So G saying, I can picture the fans cheering DeMar and booing Goran during the intros. Yeah. I don't know if Goran's going to start. I really be surprised if he starts, but maybe he does just because Lonzo's hurt and stuff like that. All right, let's see. Yeah. Thank you, Monique, for that information. And true that from Bradley and Canadian Cowboy. All right, guys, I'm just gonna finish up. Today was a weird one because I wanted to throw something together today, and I really did want to talk about this a little bit further and deeper than we have this week. This Robert Sarver stuff. The toxicity in sports can happen at all kinds of different levels of sport. It can happen at all kinds of different levels in the organization. And that, if some people in the organization are going to be held to a certain standard, like the players or, trainers, coaches, staff, owners need to be also. And that's what we're saying here, that there's no special rules for Robert Sarver to just act like he did and get away with it. That if people can be found culpable and get in trouble for acting like he did at lower levels, they should be equally able to just get in trouble also. And that this is part of a bigger thing, and saying that if you have money and power in society, you can get out of paying the consequences for some things that you've done that are awful. And this is just the sad truth of society, that people get away with stuff all the time because they are rich and powerful, and it sucks. But the NBA in this kind of cases can show there are penalties in certain areas and corners of society for acting like this. And in a way, that's a role model for setting a standard of how it should be. in certain ways. And so and some people may be like, oh, there shouldn't be cancel culture. Well, so what? It's a free country. He can say what he wants. This is the ugly side of people. This is the people that think people can just like get away with saying ugly things to people and saying, oh, it's just a joke and stuff like that. Yeah, we're not with that. And the NBA, thank God, isn't that kind of league. So I really do appreciate that. Monique is saying, does Kia return with Alvin with TSN? Haven't seen updates on her. Kia Nurse, I'm pretty sure she'll be around again this year. I don't know. She did kind of do a weird sign off at the end of the year, but that was maybe because she understands like she's got her own career to worry about and things like that. That maybe the broadcasting thing is secondary at this point, and that maybe down the road when she's done playing and different things like that, then maybe she'll be around more. I don't think she's playing still. She's in the WNBA. I'm not sure what's going on with her, but I'm sure she'll be. I'll bet you she'll be back at least from time to time, if not regularly. Canadian Cowboy saying, I know this is a topic, but everyone check out blockchain technology. Crypto ain't going anywhere. Get your bags. It's coming like the Raptors. God bless everyone. Great day. All right, there's your hot tip from Canadian Cowboy. He's saying get on that crypto train because this is the early time, and getting in there early can sometimes mean big dividends later on, big profits. So that's your tip of the day from Bradley. Is he saying get into it? He says it's a sure thing, and don't be afraid. Go with the future. And I tend to think that he might be right. That this is an early time and stuff like that. And sometimes, like you said, if you were somebody in the early '80s and you could have bought Apple stock and held on to it all these years, just think about where you're at now. So that's what I'm saying. Is maybe getting in crypto now could actually be very beneficial later. But I don't want to officially endorse that. But that is Bradley's advice for y'all. Tom Duke saying, has everyone subbed up and pressed the like button? Also entered the last few spots for the fantasy league. Oh, Tom Duke's got the link here for the fantasy league. That's right. We got 9 teams in there last time I checked. Maybe you have a couple more. There's 11 spots open. Fantasy basketball next week. We're going to be drafting for the season, getting the official Raptor Freak fantasy basketball league. In the first round, we're going to have everybody has to pick a Raptor. You cannot pick anybody on any other team other than the Raptors. So if you get the first pick in the draft, you're going to get the first pick of all the Raptors. We'll go through the whole entire first round, and we all have to pick a Raptor. And then when it flips and goes the other side, the person who picked last will get the first pick afterwards. So they get like the worst Raptor, but they get the best player that's in the next round. And that's the way to do it. So this fair and everybody gets like a Toronto Raptor on their team, because I don't want us to try it be weird where somebody's got like 2 or 3 Raptors and nobody has any. I want everybody to have at least one Raptor on their team. So let's see. Cool Cat saying NBA is going to be up in arms over Sarver issue. The NBA PA executive director made a statement. Yeah, PayPal, Chris Paul, the other owner, the secondary owner, they're all coming for him. And he's in trouble. He's going to probably get ousted for sure. Tom wants Bonjour Boucher. Chris has a couple of nicknames. I really like the Trey Boucher nickname because it really goes with his French background in Montreal. And also, it is a 3-pointer, Boucher, Trey Boucher. And it also looks like his shot, his catapult looking like shot, Trey Boucher. It's my favorite Boucher nickname. Cool Cat saying, I don't know how to create a team on your fantasy league. Well, we're going to draft it. You're in there, Cool Cat, so you're good. We just got to do the draft next week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the afternoon next Sunday. And I'll live stream during the draft. So if you have any questions during the draft, I'll actually be here to be able to talk to you if you're also live streaming with me too at the same time. I can kind of help guide some of the newer people to fantasy basketball while we're on the live stream and in the draft room also. So yeah, Cowboys saying, let's draft. Tom, you in the draft. Oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah, you guys definitely try a mock draft. That is the thing to do. Like if you go into the Yahoo fantasy basketball site, see the part where it says drafts and click on that, and then just go into an easy mock draft. It's not official or anything. It's just to practice. And you can see how the whole infrastructure and the thing works as far as like the draft room and how quick it comes around to have to draft again, and just actually see like the ordering and the rankings of who the players in the league and where they're at. So I highly recommend a mock draft. and they're a lot of fun and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll definitely help you guys out because there's actually quite a few that have never played before, and this will be it's next week's Sunday report is basically going to be a primer on how to fantasy draft for your fantasy basketball team. That's going to be our Sunday report next week, all about fantasy basketball and getting your fantasy basketball team and how, drafting strategies and stuff like that. I may give away some of my secrets, even though it'll hurt me. I might do that. Yeah. We'll do it live, Cowboy. I won't go on in the morning next Sunday. I'll be on maybe around like 4:30 or just before, like maybe 10, 15 minutes before. Maybe it'll be 4:45. And then we'll do the draft. I'll actually be on during the whole draft and we'll talk about it. I'll even live react to what you guys pick and stuff like that. And maybe we will even talk about your teams and who you got and stuff like that. It's next Sunday, a week from today, Cowboy. Yeah, it'll be next Sunday. It'll be live. Yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday afternoon next week. All right, guys, thanks for joining me once again. I really, really do appreciate everybody who subbed and just shows up and enjoys my content. I'll keep going. I really, really appreciate it. I enjoyed it a lot also. And yeah, this season is going to be so much fun. We're going to make this one of the best seasons in Raptors history this year. I really do feel like these guys have something special about them, and that we need to see what they can do on the court because they have a lot that they can do. All right, y'all. Enjoy your day too, Cool Cat, and enough love, everybody. Let's go. Have a great day, Race Mode Daily. All the best, guys, and let's go Raptors. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go Raptors.